Hello, my name is Amobi Onajaka. I am a senior mechanical engineering student at UT Tyler. Um, Interesting fact about me, I migrated to this country when I was 11 years old, and I finished my first degree in history. I taught for a little bit, and now I'm pursuing a bachelor's in mechanical engineering. Okay, to address this week's assignment, I kind of wanted to address the question that was posted that mentioned if you were talking to a friend and you have to describe what ethics represents in the first two chapters of the text. Um, well, first of all, I think there's a misconception of what we think morality is, what it means to make the right or wrong decision. Often at times that is based on our experiences. But this course really focuses on taking that discussion away from individual experiences and just kind of push it towards a more general way, in my opinion, that we can approach discussions. So just to kind of talk about it, if I was to answer this question, I would simply say that first you have to understand the purpose of ethics. The purpose of ethics, in my opinion, is the understanding of what's right and wrong, giving you a more reflective and sophisticated way to reason, where you're not just arriving at your conclusion based on your biases. Another thing that ethics does offer, it allows us to consider all views so we can make a more balanced decision. Philosophers use ethics to form argument composed of a series of claims called premise and to logically support another claim called conclusion. In other words, in every ethical argument, there have to be a premise, and that premise is either going to support or, in other words, prove the conclusion, or it's going to do the opposite. In the same way, when we think about the scientific method and scientific approach, you have to do experiment. You first establish some sort of hypothesis, and then you do a series of experiments to test your hypothesis to see how they are, how the actual results reflect your perspective. But in that line of study, if your results are very different from your hypothesis, then you would have to change your perspective. And it's kind of similar in the way that philosophers reason. Philosophers construct, share, evaluate, and revise arguments, meaning that they are willing to change their mind as long as the right amount of proof or the right amount of evidence is presented in front of them. I think this is a very feed-forward way of thinking, and this allows you to be more open-minded and not be fixed or closed-minded on certain issues. Another point that people tend to bring up is how philosophy contradicts religion. And again, people are entitled, as the professor shared in the text, yeah, you are entitled to your opinion, but I think that in many ways, even looking back historically, that the notion that philosophy contradicts religion comes from sometimes when you read old philosophical writings, you know they tend to be hiding from religious teaching or hiding from the church, but that gives the impression that their views are so opposite. I just think the difference was in the time there wasn't much open-mindedness to accept anything that was not religious. But back to the issue at hand, you find that a lot of philosophers are very religious because the teachings in different religion doctrine at times corresponds with the way using ethics to reach a conclusion also works. So I think that the advantage that ethics offers that maybe religious might not is that ethics allows you to construct an argument and have a debate with people from various religious backgrounds. Unlike, for example, if I'm Christian and I'm debating whether abortion is right or wrong, or polygamy, for instance, is right or wrong, that would be strictly based on my Christian doctrine. Whereas someone of a different religion might view it differently based on their religion. But if I just use an ethical approach or philosophical approach and just kind of go through the process of reasoning, I could really have this discussion with people from different religions. So in a nutshell, ethics is the study of morality and how we reach the conclusion that something is either right or wrong. Thank you.